Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Pranzata Podcast. I am your host, Andrea Pranzatelli. This is episode number 42, I think, on this episode. It's older than me now, which is interesting. Before we get into it, this is a podcast where I interview musicians and comedians from the New Jersey, New York, and Philly area. Today I have a special guest. His name is McCracken. That's his actual last name.
My last name.
And his first name is Sean. So this is Sean McCracken. He is a comedian, a stand-up comedian near Asbury Park, New Jersey. He also has a podcast called The Hit List. So I have questions for him about that. Anyways, we're going to get right into it. This is the Pranzata Podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you're into this kind of thing. So my first... my first question for you is... Well, we kind of answered it before, but I always thought McCracken was a joke name. It's actually your name.
That's my real last name. Yeah.
That explains a lot why you became a comedian, because I'm sure you got made fun of a lot for that name.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I also grew up in a really lower class neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was like me, like my family and one other family were like the only like white people. And being like a big like white kid who's like also very goofy, like I had like a bowl cut. Yeah. My mom dressed me in like Oshkosh Bagosh, you know. So like I just got relentlessly fucking picked on.
I do feel like you're naturally like I've seen your stand up before at an open mic in this area, and I feel like you're one of those people who are kind of naturally funny. And it works to your benefit because you are kind of a goofball. Like you're a giant, like you're just like a tall, like the sound of your voice. It's like you kind of have that advantage that, and that's not to take away from your jokes, but I do feel like certain people have an advantage because everything they say just sounds 10 times funnier because of their accent or whatever. Like, for example, there's this one Japanese comedian that I follow. Her name is Yumi, and her English is terrible. And because of that, all her jokes are so funny.
Oh, they just hit.
Like she's just like, I like guys who eat pussy. Like everything she just says just sounds so fucking hilarious.
Because it's like that's like a visceral reaction because it's like that quiet girl who's like a foreign exchange student or something, just saying like wild stuff.
Exactly.
I saw a girl like that from Guatemala in the city.
Yeah.
And like the material was so base. Like,
but she probably killed just because she has that accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Asian accents usually kill for some reason. So you're from Asbury Park, right? Is there a big stand-up community in Asbury Park?
There's the quality is great. Like the show that you were on recently, like his show, like usually the crowd is bigger than that at Ghost Harbor. Yeah. But like the quality of comedian that they've gotten is like really good. But a lot of those people have been from like Philly and New York and like North Jersey, but like in that area there's some solid open mics.
How many open mics do you think they have around that area?
Well, there's a guy named Angelo Gingerelli, shout out. He's
super
a really
Italian
good guy.
Sounding.
Yeah, he's very Italian.
Sounds kind of like my name, Andrea Pranzatelli and Angelo Gingerelli. What is it?
Yeah. You guys might be related. I don't know. It's a lot of vowels for me.
I wanted to ask you this on the podcast, so I didn't ask you before. What is your? Are you Irish? What is McCracken? Okay, 100%.
Yeah, and I was listening to an episode of your podcast recently, and you just shit all over Irish. I was like,
listen, not me, my grandmother. But
no, you said you hate Irish people. You said you hate Irish.
Okay,
people.
let me backtrack. I did not say I hate Irish people. I have a lot of side.
It's okay.
I have a lot of side thoughts about this. First of all, my first thought about this is that it seems okay to be racist against white people.
Absolutely.
For some reason. Like, I feel like there's no protection against Irish, gingers. Like, I feel like people like that, no one gives a shit. So that's the first thing. Second of all, what I said on the podcast was that my Ukrainian grandmother hates Irishmen. And Italians hate Irishmen. And then I stopped and I thought about it. And I'm like, every Irish guy I've ever dated is kind of a grumpy asshole.
And you said you hate Irishmen. You said it. It started in a good place. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. Her grandma's racist. And then you were like, and then it just like snowballed into you being like, you know what? I hate Irish people. And I was like, well, you didn't say people, you said men in specific. So I was like, I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
I've never dated an Irish woman.
I'm going to get roasted tonight.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't hate you. And you're 100% Irish, right?
I'm just out here changing minds. Yeah. I'm like gleeful Irish. You're like thinking of like Northern Irish where it's like all like doom and gloom. But probably
when I don't know what's crossing the barrier of what I can talk about here, but can we talk about your drinking days? Are we allowed to talk about that? Okay. I don't know because my last guest didn't want me to talk about certain things. And I was like, damn, maybe I'm an overbearing podcaster and I asked too many personal things. But maybe I would have hated your Irishman-ness when you were a drinker.
A drinker. I'm a fun drinker.
But when you when you were
if I was using illicit substances, you wouldn't want me in your home for sure.
When you had drinking issues, okay, were you were actually a happy drunk?
Oh yeah.
Really? So then why did you quit?
Well, that was drinking.
Okay, so you had some other issues.
I mean, like, I started drinking like really young. So like,
how young?
Like getting drunk at like 13, like stealing my parents' booze like once a week.
What kind of booze?
Irish whiskey. Go figure.
Are your parents super Irish? Like they have an accent?
Anything I get my hands on.
Do your parents have an Irish accent?
No. My grandparents are from Ireland. My dad's parents are from Ireland, and my mother's dad is like, his parents were from Ireland. Mm-hmm. And then my mother's mother is half Irish, half German. Okay.
Maybe I had a bad impression of Irishmen based off of two Irishmen. So maybe I need to give them a chance. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've given plenty of Italian women chances. And they always blow it.
We're probably... What's a story of... a crazy Italian woman you've dated?
My favorite like story arc of Italian woman in my life was like back in like the middle school days when it was like when like everybody was like trying to be like wanksters and stuff like that. And like, you remember AIM?
Yeah, of
like
course.
The Italian girls at school always had like the best like icons and like Baby Princess 1991 like stuff like that. With like the pink glittery background and stuff like that. Like those were my favorite. Like those were like the girls I was like. Those were like the girls I was dating like in middle school and high school.
The ones who had like hoop earrings. And
like bigger the hoop, bigger the hoe. Like like the Italian girls back then were great. They were fantastic.
I was just talking about. It's funny you said AIM. I was just talking about AIM with my therapist last week.
What?
I was talking about AOL. By the way, listeners, does anybody write this in the comment section? Do you guys remember AOL Instant Messenger? If you're around your 30s, you've had it. But if you're a listener in your 20s, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, probably. But yeah, AOL Instant Messenger, the reason we were talking about it is because I found out about my first boyfriend cheating on me through AOL Instant Messenger. Oh, yeah.
Trust issues.
Remember they had those profiles? Like they what you're talking about with the baby, whatever you said. Yeah. So my boyfriend at the time, I was like 15. He used, lost my virginity to him. He used to.
The guy from the detention center.
Yeah. So look, loyal listener right here, Pranzata. That makes me excited. And I think he listens to this podcast, so he's probably gonna hear this. But he would write. He was kind of poetic, like he was into poetry and stuff like that, and like.
So he's like a poetic bad boy. It's reminded me a lot of me.
But he would write little like song lyrics in his profile and poetry and stuff. And then one day I randomly looked there and it just said, "I love Sarah," and I was like. I thought
That's
about
not
it.
how your name's spelled.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I was like, is that my pet name? I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like,
Mom,
Sarah?
What's my middle name?
Exactly. I was like, and I approached him. I was like, is that me? Like, is that your like nickname for me? What's going on? And he was just like, no, I'm with Sarah. And that's how I found out. So I have beef with AOL Instant Messenger.
He's a better man than me. I would have been like, Sarah's my mom's name. Relax. You're
At least
crazy.
he told the truth. Yeah. So I literally I brought that up with my therapist the other day. So yeah. Interesting.
Well, you meet boys in detention centers or homes. It's going to happen. I was listening to that and I was like, nice. I was in alternative school. And you were like, it's not an alternative school. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm a piece of shit Irishman.
You were in alternative school?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the first time I ever got drunk was in the middle school boys' bathroom during state testing.
Oh no!
And I was like very much of the like I was like always like one of those like literature douchebags who thought like like alcohol makes you a better writer.
Yeah.
So like
probably does.
I got shit hand. Oh, it does. I just actually real quick. Yeah. I got commissioned this weekend. I kind of commissioned myself. I'm making myself sound a lot cooler than I am. I started working on a fan fiction. Do you know what that is?
I don't know why I just made this face because I don't know what it is, but it sounded super cool.
It's like when you write like Harry Potter is the source
That's what
material.
I figured. Yeah, that's what I figured it was.
It's like a fan fiction like based on like Harry Potter, and I've done them before like as a joke. I like writing like weird fan fictions. Yeah. So Dumbledore's character is gay, and I wrote a fan fiction about him and Gellert Grindelwald, like having sex in the room of requirement for the first time. And there's like all this kinky stuff that happens. It's like a really beautiful piece.
Dude, that's awesome.
But I wrote that sober, so
you're a writer. You write. You experiment with writing. You've only been doing comedy for about a year now. Is that right?
Right.
Do you have what's your writing process like?
It's almost like a PowerPoint presentation.
Really?
Yeah, like I write like the premise.
Yeah.
And then boom. It's like how I do pre-writing for for a story or anything.
You said you just got booked your first show recently, right?
No, that was probably like a month or two into comedy. I got booked by Josh and Alex.
Was that
at the Lemongrass?
When I saw you, that was a show or an open mic? I can't remember.
That was an open mic. But
okay.
A few months before that, I did their showcase.
How was the show? How did you do?
You saw the video. It was all right.
How did you feel about it?
I felt good. For like a first time getting 10 minits.
Yeah.
I felt very good. I was like, oh, nice. A lot of people. I had black people saying, "Oh hell no, he's crazy," and I was like, that was like the pinnacle thus far. Because my second show was in Asbury, and it was like a lot of hipsters, and they were all.
How did that do?
That went really well.
Yeah. No, I really liked your stuff. I was really surprised when I found out you were only doing comedy for 1 year because I was like, damn. And again, like I said, you just have this goofy essence to you. You're naturally funny, and that's really good.
I've also have the added benefit of when I because my buddy Sean McDonough, who you know him.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's the best. He's a grumpy Irishman. We're like the complete opposites of the Irishman.
You're the happiest Irishman I've ever met.
Really?
That's true. You're right. He has that Irish vibe.
He's a very.
I've never met a happy Irishman. Yeah. You're the first one.
Don't let him fool you though. He is happy. He just,
Yeah.
He's a real theater kid about happiness.
Yeah, no, he's he's got a great sense of humor.
But he's the one that took me out and got me introed. I wouldn't.
Did he push you to do it? Was he like, "You're funny, you need to do this"?
No, because he does. I don't think he would and I wouldn't believe it either. If you needed that much of a push, you probably shouldn't be you know what I mean? Unless he just took me to an open mic.
But you expressed the interest first.
Yeah, I was I'd like to go check it out. And people just kept getting on me to do it. Yeah. Throughout for a long time, because I'm the big goofy guy with a pretty quick joke usually. Yeah. The writing helps.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never written a fan fiction. That's insane. You're probably an amazing.
I've won competitions.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I won my first one sophomore year of high school.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I wrote about Angela's Ashes. You probably don't know it. It's about an Irishman who had a terrible life.
See, he had a terrible life.
You probably burn it in your fireplace or something.
Quick question. Since you used to drink, would it bother you if I had a beer right now?
No, absolutely not.
You can be around
I'd be so screwed. Are you serious? I have to go to open mics?
I mean, yeah, you do.
I've seen comedians do cocaine.
Okay, quick second, guys. I'm going to go get a beer. We'll be right back. I'll edit out the waiting period for this, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, go for it. I mean, I have to take people to detox sometimes, and they do heroin in front of me. Oh, yeah. It's awful. That would be the only thing that bothered me, and I don't even think that does it really. So, yeah, a beer doesn't affect me. I mean, I wish I had a Shirley Temple right now. I usually get those when I go to an open mic.
I think this is a twist off. Let's find out.
If it's not, I got you. Damn. I was about to pull out the lighter.
I should have done that in the mic. That would have been a sexy sound for you guys, for you ASMR freaks. Addicts, for you freaks.
Addicts, yes. Sorry. That's what I meant.
I'm doing it up with a Michelob Ultra, trying to keep that flat stomach, y'all.
Is that your sponsor?
No, I'm not.
You're just throwing these Canadians free advertising?
Fucking Canadians, these angry
fucking non-domestic beer drinking.
No, it always seems like I'm sponsored by whatever I'm drinking, but I just kind of like to shout it out for I shouted out the company who made my microphones, and I talked shit about one of my microphones. I was like, I'm not sponsored by you. I don't like this microphone. I
would have felt like such a nerd. I was about to ask you before the pod, like, do I have to rip off the Poland Spring thing?
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you're worried that
if you hit me with that? No, I would have felt like no.
You were worried,
you idiot.
Like, you were worried that you would get in trouble for having them on?
You big dumb Mick. Like, what do you get out? And I'd have a long drive home to think about that. He's so terrible.
Yeah, Asbury Park, that's like an hour drive, right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like comedians are just used to driving,
Yeah. It's not... As long as the parking situation is okay, I'll drive like 4 hours over like a half an hour drive with a shitty parking situation.
I feel like I've kind of come to accept traveling as a part of my life. Because I feel like even if I settle in a home... I'm a musician and a comedian. I might have a music gig an hour away. I had to drive to New York City. To me, it's like no sweat off my back. Yeah. I'm like, that's just a normal, it's a normal day for me. You know what I mean? I know some people who are like, oh, I can only date people that are like 10 minutes away. And I'm like, I drive all the time.
I prefer that because I like my me time.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. I actually think it's great.
I like a nice hour drive to see somebody that I'm dating.
Yes.
That's nice.
Because I feel like if the person... I agree. Because I feel like if the... First of all, I like spacing things out. I don't want to date someone that's just there constantly.
Yeah, you can knock out an episode of the Pranzata Podcast on your way to see your lover.
On the way to see your lover. Yeah. No, I don't want someone that can come over every day. That would piss me off. I mean, I understand that in a certain point of the relationship, if it progresses, it kind of gets there.
Well, then you move in.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you barely see each other because hopefully they have their own passions and everything.
Yeah, but no, I don't like rushing things. I like having that space.
That's
I think
how
it's
I am
nice.
too. Very much like, no, I need my free space. Like I think I talked about it at that open mic was like the girl that was like too like pushy about my time in the beginning. And like in the first like 2 months, and that being like like tripping at the NFL Combine, it's just like like you're already fucking this up, like mate, like you're already telling me I'm doing comedy too many nights a week, which is like 2 at that point in my life.
Yeah, which isn't even that much, really.
At all. I mean, I still had like school and work.
Yeah.
But it's like
stuff I want to do. I think to make a relationship work, you have to bring the best out of each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you're...
And there's compromises for time, but not in the first 2 months. What are you, nuts?
Of course, yeah.
But the girl I'm talking to right now, she like lives a good distance. She's got like a lot of stuff going on that keeps her busy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
But like in the future, like they're like she's going for like a master's and all that. So like if there's a future there, it's like then there's more time in the future.
Yeah.
But I like it where it's at right now.
I think once a week is great, even if you've been together for a while. Yeah. This is my thing. I think a once a week love night is perfect, even if you've been together for like 4 years.
Yeah, you get like a themed hotel room. You just meet up. You act like strangers. And that's Saturday night. It's like
a themed hotel room. What theme?
Well, my favorite's the Jungle Room at the Gallery Motel in South Amboy. Shout out! I've been in every room at least once. It's a beautiful place. I don't recommend it to people actually, like unless you're like really like about that life, like unless you're like really weird. Yeah. And if you do go, bring your own bleach because they have like the heart-shaped like jacuzzi tubs.
Yeah.
And you should absolutely bring your own bleach.
I've never done anything like that. That sounds. I've never gone to a
treat yourself. It's like $80 a night. You can get it for a couple hours if you want.
Why is it so
like you will walk out of the parking lot in the morning and like I'm not smoking cigarettes right now, but like when
You're not smoking in cigarettes anymore?
I'm vaping.
Damn, I was gonna bum one of you.
Oh well, stop. We can't talk about cigarettes.
Okay, we won't talk about it.
I want to like.
You want to quit?
Yeah.
Okay, so but you're vaping.
I know. I don't know.
I think vaping's worse.
I know, me too.
Because I got nicotine poisoning from it.
But you know what? Well, you were probably just like chiefing on it all day.
That's what happened. That's the danger in vaping to me, because it doesn't smell and you can smoke them indoors. I just smoked it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but I can't, like, I was just all day long and I vomited, and then I looked it up and it turned, are we going to smoke it right now?
Would you like to hit the vape?
We don't have COVID, do we?
I don't.
Let's hit the vape.
Boom. I just got tested because I went to go see my grandmother, and she's the only person I've seen. So
I would get tested before you see her again in case I have it, because I didn't get tested.
She lives in Delaware, so I won't be seeing her for like another.
How far is Delaware? Because
from me, northern Delaware is like 2 hours.
So what do I just...
You just pull. No button. You pulled that like such a nerd. Like your first time smoke weed. Actually, that was pretty good. Good for you.
It was classy.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to keep doing it?
Yeah, go for it. Fuck it.
How much is this? Is okay. I had the. Oh my god! I just got high from it.
Oh, but you pull a cigarette when you leave the gallery room real quick, and you just watch like these like married men leave these rooms with definite prostitutes with a definite It's like the only place I've heard about methamphetamines in Jersey. You know what I mean? I heard somebody talking about Tina in the parking lot of the gallery, which is a slang term, like a real like addict slang term for methamphetamines. And I was like, hell yeah! Like I was smoking this thing. I was like, I fucking love this place. And I was dead sober for it. Like that's the best. Like so, the beer does not bother me now.
Okay, good.
I very much like being like in scenarios where I'm like, oh wow. Like,
I don't really like. I'm not a heavy drinker. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, funny. Today I teach at a music studio. I'm not going to name which one, but I teach privately. We know that he's my piano student now. By the way, guys.
Lifetime dream of mine.
Yeah. No. He hit me up and he was like, "Oh, you play piano? I always wanted to learn piano." And I was like, well, I teach. And he's like, for real? He's like, I'm literally like want to learn this month. He's like, I've been thinking about buying a keyboard. And I was like, let's do it. So it was I
had lessons.
You did?
Yeah. One. And the guy was shit hammered when I showed up.
He was drunk?
He was wasted.
Was he Russian?
No.
What was he? Who was he? Was he Irish? I told you.
He wasn't miserable. He was like very happy, but like he was just like red in the face.
So maybe I was wrong about the miserable, but they're always trouble. They're always trouble.
Women love trouble.
That's true.
Women love trouble.
The guy on Instant Messenger was Irish. The one that I said broke my heart on AOL Instant Messenger, he was half Irish, half Italian. Cheers. So he was worse.
I broke a Russian girl's heart on AIM.
You did?
Yeah.
How?
I used to be skinnier and I was tall always. That's how. Sound so impressed. You're like, really? You broke a woman's heart?
No, I mean,
look at you.
I don't mean that. I meant, what did you do? That's what I meant. I didn't mean like you. I meant what specifically did you do to break her heart?
Oh, I told her
that we just got an idea of how your self-talk is like in there.
Very good facade. Yeah. Very good happy facade. Yeah. Very happy with myself.
Very happy Irishman. No, but what did you do specifically to break her heart?
Oh, I slept with her sister. At 15. Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, Irishman.
Listen, I'm a reformed Irishman. I'm a better person now. I was 15 years old.
You've become Italian.
Well, they were like, yeah, I know.
You had sex with her sister?
Whoa, what? That's an Italian move. That's not an Irishman's move. That's
ridiculous. Yeah, that actually.
To be fair, they were both adopted from Russia.
Oh. So they were adopted, so they weren't actually related. But still, it's her sister.
No, they were related.
Oh. They were okay.
They were. There was 3 sisters. Their parents died in a house fire. It was crazy.
This is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, but I dodged a bullet. But like,
oh shit!
Like them and the Italian girls at school, like they all wore like the baby fat, like
baby fat
velour, like.
Oh yeah, not baby fat, juicy
couture.
It's not baby
fat had it too, though. They had like the white velour like outfit type of thing.
I never heard of that.
It was a little cheaper than the juicy couture, though. I mean, like, I went to a very poor school.
Yeah. Where area did you grow up in?
Area.
Areola.
Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds really familiar. I knew a girl from
Wilmington.
I knew a girl from Wilmington who slept with her cousin.
Wow.
And she was Latina.
Well, that's kind of like
that's normal.
Third cousin?
I don't know
Not a first cousin.
I'm not sure exactly which one, but to be honest, I didn't know her personally.
Before we throw dirt on Wilmington's name, third cousin, we'll say.
I didn't know her personally. I was it was one of my friends. He hit me up and he was like, and I knew she was from there, but he hit me up and he was like, hey, I'm dating this girl that told me she fucked her cousin. Should I keep dating her? And I was like,
hell yeah, she's a freak.
Dude, I'm not going to name who said this, but I'm just going to say I asked somebody in my family about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name which person in my family, but I asked them and I was like, can you believe this? This girl in Wilmington had sex with her cousin. And one of my family members goes, oh, I've thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was a young kid.
He was like, there was a couple family reunions that I was like, I would hit that. And I'm just like, gee. And this was
as a kid.
Yeah.
Like you see like a cousin, you're like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like I've never even seen this person before because they're distant cousins.
Yeah.
And you've never seen them. Like,
yeah.
Like you're like, oh, who's that?
Yeah.
Like who's hopefully adopted kid?
Have you ever gotten aroused at a funeral by seeing a hot person?
Oh, like, yeah, for sure. I went to my oh, by the way, real quick disclaimer. I was 15 years old. All right, with the sister thing. I didn't have the ability to say no yet. You know what I mean?
understand.
Like if that happened,
so it really wasn't you. It was her. It was her.
Oh, she came on to me.
Okay, I forgive 100%. You. No, I forgive you. It sounded like you were like scheming.
No.
I forgive you.
No,
you were forgiven.
I was 15. No, it would be inexcusable now as a grown man.
I 100% agree. It sounded to me like you were like, let me hit that.
The hormones are raging. You could die any day, and you don't have like a body count. You know what I mean?
It was her. Okay, I get it. You're excused.
At this point in the game, it would be my fault. 15 years old.
No, you're
young
fine.
Man, Russian girls. Yeah. I don't know what kind of Machiavellian stuff was going on in that house. That was a power play for like a top bunk or something. I don't know.
They clearly had some trauma. Like their parents died in the house fire. So.
Well, the new parents were also Russian, but they were nuts.
How did those sisters get along after that?
Well, there were 3 of them.
Yeah, but after you, what did they fight a lot after that?
Oh, I have no idea. They went to like Catholic school. Yeah, I have no idea.
Jeez.
I never really talked to them again. No. I was always like a real like ghosty piece of shit. That was my piece of shit move. Was like
I don't like ghosting.
I was a drug addict.
Okay.
I'm not talking about like I block your phone number. I'm talking about like I'm gonna be home. Like
as a grown man, do you ghost people as a grown man?
No.
I hate that. I'm very
as a like non-drug addict, like human being, like who's like trying to live a decent. No.
If I'm talking to a guy,
take a deep breath and bite the bullet.
If I'm talking to a guy and even if we've only been on one date and I don't owe him shit, I will give him the luxury. That's not a luxury. I'll give him the courtesy, the respect. I'll give him the respect of saying, hey, I'm sorry, but I don't want to continue seeing you. Now, here from the male perspective, would you want to know why? Or would you want to just hear, sorry, I'm not interested? Or would you want to know exactly why to get feedback?
Well, I'm a filthy, dumb, patty Irishman. So we don't have such feelings. That's one thing about Irish people is like, we're very like, all right. We don't ever have to see each other ever again. Or you don't even have to tell me what's going on. As long as I just know that you don't want to see me, I'll be like, all right.
Okay, Italians are disgustingly open with each other. I talk about sex with my parents. Like that's how open we are with each other in Italian families. I remember I was around an Irishman, at a family function, and
you can throw one of the slurs out. I know you want to. Call him a dumb Mick or something. Want to? It's fine.
McCracken. I was
toughest Irishman.
I was at some function and there was an Irishman there, and all right, now I'm embarrassing myself here, but as an Italian woman, we grow hair fast. Okay. If I shave my armpits, I have a 5 o'clock shadow that day.
Top.
And I remember it was summertime and I was wearing a tank top and you can see like a little hair in my armpit. Okay. And apparently it got word of mouth travel back to me that he was he was embarrassed. And Irish people are like that. Like they're not open. Like in an Italian family, that would be nothing. That would be like, oh, Italians would be like, here, come smell my pit. Like we're just so open with each other. But apparently he was ashamed and he was embarrassed that he saw my armpit hair. And I was just like, what?
See, I'm the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, all right. I guess you shared that. So
let's go for it.
I was with a girl for like 4 years.
Who didn't shave anything?
She shaved everything.
Oh, she shaved.
It drove me nuts.
Okay.
Like, it was the one thing I didn't like.
She shaved
about
her arms and everything.
Yeah, I mean, except for like towards the end, like I just couldn't even like touch her. Like I was like, I didn't like her anymore at all. But yeah, like when I got single again, I keep like every woman is like this now. I think I can't find hair on the field anywhere. I asked the
vagina.
Yeah, I asked a woman to do it. Like I'm like, oh yeah, you don't have to shave. They're like, nah, we like it. And I'm like, really?
I heard on the Whitney Cummings podcast. I'm a huge fan. Whitney Cummings got laser hair removal on her vagina.
Most of them do that.
She said that now, because vagina hair is trending, women are actually going to a cosmetic surgeon to get hair implants on their vagina.
Is it trending now?
Yeah.
Yes, ladies.
Yeah, but it's so if you meet a woman with a bush, it's possible that she had it laser
are there, like,
removed.
Articles about this that I can start showing?
Yeah. No, it's
like it's cool now.
No, I actually dated a guy who like a long time ago when I was like 23. That should tell you kind of how old I am. If I say that's a long time ago. So we hooked up for the first time, right? Mm. And I had a little like landing strip.
Nice.
And he said something about it. He goes, I like he was hinting like, yes.
Hell
like
yeah.
He was like, I like the landing strip. And I was like, shit. I was like, he liked it. So I did it again the next time. And the next time he looked disappointed. And he was like, and I'm like, well, I thought you, and he goes, I was trying to hint that I liked it all. And I was like, all? And he's like, grow it all.
Grow it all.
And I was like, shit.
That's a bit much.
No, and it was really weird. He liked full bush, like the sides.
Not the sides. Everything up top.
Okay, I would go for a jog. This guy he was Irish.
Oh, he was a nasty motherfucker. You would go on a jog, come back,
and he would ask to smell it.
All right, I've done stuff like that. Like the girl comes home from the gym, I just like throw him down and start going down on him.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, don't take a shower, just come on.
He's an Irishman?
Yeah.
Respect. If you're listening, probably not.
Sometimes I wonder if my ex-boyfriends listen. There's got to be at least one.
Oh, I've had a week with ex-girlfriends. That's how. I'll tell you right now, the girl that I'm talking to right now, that's how you know it's gonna get serious. Is because like
she listens to your podcasts?
No, because like the exes are like coming out of the woodwork and it's like a sixth sense that exes have of mine. Like 3 exes in the last week. I saw one of them at a red light after recording the podcast the other day.
That's fate.
One of them called me at 10 o'clock at night and requested me on Instagram.
They want to get back with you?
I don't know. I didn't answer. If they call me 3 times, I'll answer because then it's like, oh, they must be going through something. Like I'll talk to them, but like I'm very Irish. Like we're done. Like everything is. I get accused of being a sociopath by my Italian friends because they're like,
yeah, because we're
like, how do you just turn it off like that? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're very emotional.
It's not a thing. I'm very emotional, but like if it's like a breakup or like a death, like I compartmentalize it very well. I go off to the side and I sit with it. You know? And I'm like, okay. And if somebody really wants to talk, like if somebody else wants to talk about something like that because it'll help them, I'm all about it. Yeah. And like I'll like open up about my feelings. But if I feel like there's no like purpose being served, I'm just not gonna. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so that one. Yeah. And then ex-fiance from years ago found the podcast Instagram page.
Oh shit.
And requested to follow it. And I was like, no.
Ex-fiance?
Oh yeah.
Was this? What happened? Why?
That was a long time ago.
Why didn't it work out?
Let's see. We met when I like first like really tried to get sober. Yeah. And then I got locked up for a little bit. I turned myself in for some warrants. She like held me down while I was in there. Yeah. Got out. She was like a real estate gal. Like had a place for us, a car that I could use. Very pretty, nice girl, sweet girl. Yeah. Kind of crazy, obviously. You know, dealing with me at that point in my life, a woman would have to be crazy. Yeah. But we got engaged like really quick. I got her knocked up. we lost the kid.
Oh, I was gonna say I didn't know you had a kid.
But like the whole time, I was like ready to get high, like the whole time. And then when that happened, I was just like, all right. And then like that's how I go. Like I just go homeless. I'm like, all right, you can keep all my stuff. That's just gonna weigh me down. Yeah. And then I went on like an 8-month like drug run.
Damn.
Which
Jesus Christ.
resulted in me getting sober this time.
I gotta say, this is like a kind of a random side thought, but not really. Like while you were telling me that story, I'm like, you really are meant to do comedy because you have it all. Like you have a wild backstory. I feel like that's definitely essential to being a comedian. You need to have life experiences and you need to have a lot going on that you can see things from different angles. So you have that going on for you. You're again naturally funny and you're a writer. Like I really think you're going to be one can only be successful if they work at it, but I really believe if you work at it, you can be a successful comedian because you have all the elements that come with the package of being a comedian.
I appreciate that.
And you don't seem to have a filter, which is also another good thing too.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's...
I don't think I need a good filter because I'm not like racist or like I'm not like a pervert. You know what I mean?
You don't seem like you have shame.
I don't.
I have a lot of shame. Like, I feel like I'm the person who does second guess what I say, and I get really...
See, that's very Irish of you. The shame. The least Irish thing about me is my level of shame.
You have more of Italian shame, and I have Irish
shameless.
Shame. I have
completely.
I have a lot of shame that I carry with me, and I think it hinders my comedy because I think I do lock up and tense up in certain... situations. Like I don't know if I can handle upsetting an audience member, like that type of thing, you know.
I've had to bend over and have another man look at my asshole while I cough. Let me teach you a trick.
Do men I just learned today that men have a prostate.
We have a prostate,
and I heard that it's pleasurable for men.
It's very pleasurable. It's like the difference between snorting and shooting drugs.
Where is it? That makes sense to you at home. Is it deep in there?
No, it's like, same kind of motion. It's like right.
Oh my God.
It's not deep at all. It's about as deep as the female G-spot.
So it's like the male G-spot in a weird way.
That's literally what they call it.
Do guys like their... do men like their assholes licked by women?
I don't. I like the sensation of it.
Yeah.
But I can get like the same sensation from like a wet like finger or toy. I don't want I couldn't look you in the eye if you because it's not like I get like bleached or like shave it. You know what I mean? Like
you would feel shame. You'd feel shame. You have shame.
I wouldn't feel shame. I would feel bad for the person
who has to do it.
Yeah, like I just wouldn't. I've had it done. Yeah. Because there's like some girls who are like me and that guy who will just like throw your legs in the air after a gym session. They're fucking wild.
Yeah.
But most women, I'm just like, we're okay.
Yeah.
Like it's the same reason I don't like getting massaged.
Why don't you like getting massaged?
I don't know.
By you don't like going to the massage parlor and getting massaged?
I don't like getting massaged by anybody, but that's like childhood.
That is fucking Irish. That's some Irish shit right there.
Well, no, I was like, I have like intimacy issues with strangers.
Well, why are you getting massaged by strangers?
At like a place where
a woman that you're dating.
Oh yeah, that's other intimacy issues. Like I don't like blowjobs or like anything like.
You don't like blowjobs?
For like 2 minutes, and then like I kind of just go like caveman and like start having sex. I like having sex. Okay. I don't know. I like giving head more than I like getting head.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so strange. That is some Irish shit right there.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
No, it's I've never heard of that in my life. That is wild.
I don't know. I just need to be like doing something. Like I can't just like. It's like when I'm at work.
I understand because it's like the pressure's on, kind of, because it's like you have to.
It's just like
you don't like receiving.
It's just boring. It's
really? You don't like to receive. You like to give.
I like to receive and like. I'm mainly like when I talk about stuff like that. I'm like thinking about like the beginning stages of like a sexual relationship.
And you think as the relationship progresses,
as the relationship progresses, prostate play, please. Okay. Like it starts to get weirder and like more like open, and you start taking your time more with things and like really like delving into like shit.
I feel like I'm definitely more of a giver because I feel like, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, I've noticed that I'm my happiest as a giver because I feel like I have a weird history as well, like with my childhood, and I feel like I've had to be so responsible my whole life, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's kind of nice for me to not have to worry about myself and worry about somebody else. I don't know. It's it's a psychological thing, but I prefer giving.
Well, it's probably like I have like the bits. I'm not going to burn the bit on here, but like I have like the bits about like being like molested when I was a kid. Okay. That's like the surprise bit. Like people like, never see that. It's hilarious. Like that's my favorite thing in comedy is like getting like people be like, oh my God. And then just like holding it there for like 5 seconds. Yeah. And then like hitting them with the punch, like just like, yeah, boom. Yeah. And then like getting people like that big laugh. Yeah. Like I love that so much. Yeah. Like that's the best feeling for me in comedy. Like that's the hit for me.
Who are some of your influences?
Growing up.
Yeah. Or now. It doesn't have to be growing up.
Paul Mooney, Lewis Black, Greg Giraldo, Dave Attell. I actually talked about her the other day, but Maria Bamford's probably one of my favorite comics of all time.
One of my friends introduced me, not to her in person, but you know what I mean, introduced me to her material, and I was like, damn, she is out there. Like,
nobody plays a crazy anxious cat aunt like her. Like she is so like that, like, and I'm sure it's her, like an exaggerated form, yeah, of course, but oh my God, yeah. It just for some reason like that archetype of person, yeah, just kills me. Yeah. I don't know why, yeah, but I think it's because I'm like not like the crazy anxious type that I find the crazy anxious type like so funny.
I'm kind of crazy anxious. I don't know if I portray that on my podcast, but I feel like
in stand up, yeah, that's why I kept laughing at the show because I was like, oh man, yeah. Like you come off very like neurotic, which is funny.
Do I come? Okay, I'm trying to find who I am on stage because I don't see myself. Like
Be that because it's funny.
Do I seem neurotic on stage?
A little bit.
That's good. No. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not a chill comedian.
No, you're more like
a Bill Burr, not Bill Burr, but like that in that direction.
You're like a guinea Woody Allen without the molestation.
Oh my God. No, that's good to know because I'm trying to find my comedic voice and I don't know if I'm more of like a.
I think that's a pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good to know because I really am like playing around with who am I? Am I a calm comedian? Am I an angry comedian? Am I a neurotic? But I am a neurotic person, so it kind of makes sense that the funniest parts of me are the craziest parts of me.
Yeah. Yeah. But I haven't been doing comedy long, so don't listen to me.
Yeah. No, but you're the first person who's given me feedback about that. I don't. Yeah. I did ask my ex-boyfriend once. I was like, "Hey, am I calm or crazy?" He's like, "Crazy," and I'm like, I said when I'm funny. I said when I'm my funniest, am I a calm funny or a crazy funny? He's like a crazy funny.
Yeah. So you need to be like jacked up. Like, like do you have a friend that like? Because you know what helps me is do you have a friend that like knows the combination to your safe to like agitate you?
No, absolutely not.
You don't have like that's very Irish of you. I'm very Italian in the sense that I have a combination.
No, you are the most.
Some people know it.
You are the most open Irishman I've ever met. You're not cold and nasty.
That's years of therapy and like some really traumatic shit. That's like a perfect blend of like heavy trauma, crazy adulthood, and then therapy and introspection and like work on myself.
I like the hand gesture.
It's a marriage of just like all of these things. It's like a good sauce for all you Italians out there.
He makes Italian food too.
Oh, I love making Italian food.
That's so funny.
There's not a lot of Irish food to make. I make like a beef stew.
Yeah, that's like another thing. Irish food? What the fuck? Everybody I know who comes from Irish.
There's like decent restaurants in Ireland now though. They turned like all these like old like Guinness soup kitchens into like 5-star restaurants and stuff.
Yeah,
I
know they're big into the like potatoes and meats and stuff like that.
They're gentrifying the crap out of that place.
Where?
Ireland.
Oh,
like Dublin in specific.
I just learned what the word gentrified meant this year. I had no idea what it meant.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
They did it to Asbury Park.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I made a joke about it when I did the show there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked about the parking sitch. I'll never use that joke again anywhere else. But I like wrote it just for that show.
When's your next show?
I don't know.
You haven't.
If you need somebody,
dude, book this guy. He's good. He really is good.
I'm all right. I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I won't F it up.
You definitely won't F it up.
I don't know. I think like my comedian friends like want me to bomb. Does that make sense to you? Like they want like I've like bombed at like open mics where there's like 4 people.
Yeah.
But if there's like a crowd, never. Yeah. Like I won't.
But you gotta have a little humility too and say that.
Oh, I do. Yeah. I'm waiting for it to happen. It'll happen. Okay, I'm not saying it can't happen.
But you haven't had enough shows yet to get to the point.
Exactly.
So your ratio is doing good so far because there will be a point where it'll happen.
I know.
You know?
I know. It's so scary.
It's definitely happened to me. Oh my God.
It keeps me on point though. Like a big crowd though. I imagine like you would do well with like a bigger like. Yeah. Like the bigger the crowd, the better.
I have a confession to make to my listeners. So I got into a really difficult financial situation the past few months. And because of that, I couldn't go to open mics barely. Like, and I don't want anyone listening to this to think that I quit comedy. I did not. I just got I was in a desperate financial situation and I had to work constantly and I couldn't go to open mics. I just got a roommate. Okay. So I'm going to fix that situation. I got booked a show this Thursday and I haven't. The last time you're gonna die. The last time I practiced comedy was that show in Asbury Park.
Really?
And I have a show this. I hope the people who booked me for that show.
And you had a mic that week too, because you were at that mic.
Did I do it a mic that week? I don't remember.
Yeah, you did it Tuesday.
So I did a mic that week, but that was like a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't practiced comedy for.
That's tough.
I'm probably gonna do 2 mics before the show, or at least 1.
Because I haven't hit anything since before Christmas because like of Omicron and all that. Yeah. Like my grandmother's really compromised. I just wanted to be able to see my family.
Do the right thing.
For, like my birthday, it's like right after Christmas. So, like,
what's it like having a birthday in January?
It's awful. Women seem to hate Capricorns, by the way. I don't know. Capricorns and Irishmen.
Do you believe in that stuff?
No. Not really.
But a lot of women do.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence about it. Not to shout out Whitney Cummings again. I sound like I'm obsessed with her, but she made a really good point. She said that those things are true, but not because the stars are aligned. The month that you are born and the month of your birthday affects your psychology. So, for example, if you have a birthday in September,
for sure,
which is usually when school starts, you might end up being like a obsessively organized person. And what she said made a lot of fucking sense. I was like, that actually kind of makes sense because there are some personality traits that are similar amongst Geminis and Sagittarius and stuff like that, but it might have nothing to do with astrology and it might have to do with the time of year that you were born and the psychology.
Why I like to party all the time. That's why I'm high energy and I like to party all the time.
But wouldn't January make you lazy because it's cold?
No. You got New Year's.
Oh, true. You're right. That makes sense. So so Gemini, I'm a Gemini and they're supposedly known for being crazy. Two-faced and crazy. Yeah. My birthday is around Memorial Day. Why would being born around Memorial Day make me two-faced? There's a lot of joke opportunity here, I feel like.
Memorial Day. Oh, it's like, there's like, that's the one that's earlier in the season, right? Yeah. I always forget. I should know that because it's like my busiest day of the year. So you're going from like cold to hot. You're right.
So holy shit, you just blew my fucking mind with that. Yeah. It's like that week the pool's open.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that makes sense that if
like the water, like the Italian ice places are opening up.
You're right. If Whitney Cummings' theory is true, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like bipolar. It's like it was school and now it's summer. Yeah. So people born around that time are just like have multiple personalities. Yeah.
Boom.
That was good.
Off the top. Yeah. I did improv before.
Dude, I don't think I would be good at improv. Really? I don't like being put on the spot.
I think I do all right. I think like I just have like I'll just be like, I like doing like cheeky stuff. I don't know. It's fun. I think I get into some real fucking trouble doing improv though.
I just learned what the phrase tongue-in-cheek meant. I never heard it before.
Tongue-in-cheek?
I never heard it before, and someone said it, and I had to Google it. It was like, what's tongue-in-cheek?
Really?
And it means, I kind of forget what it means now.
It means like
sarcastic?
Sarcastically a little bit. It's like, yeah, like.
But what does that have to do with your tongue-in-cheek?
I don't know. Maybe it's something people used to do. I'm like trying to do it. It's not. I don't know.
You're right. Like the facial expression you make.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Like
it kind of makes sense.
I understand.
I guess. I think it's British. Those people don't know what they're talking about. Let's slam the British. Let's do it.
2022 Pranzata Podcast, the most racist podcast. We only talk.
Oh, I can't say the name of the business, but we have on the podcast that we have. We would shout my buddy's like business out, like, and he was like, oh, it's fine, like you guys will never get any listeners.
Yeah.
He started to get nervous because we keep getting more and more listeners. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, like I might have to pay you to go back and edit those out because I know I told you. But he has like a really good business, and we kept calling it like the most racist blank service.
Yeah, but how many people are gonna listen to that?
I don't know. It's like a big like corporate type of like business.
I have a lot of friends who are in comedy, and they're like, I can't talk about this on your podcast because of my job. And I'm like, no offense to anybody of my guests who said that. I'm like burping up his room. Yeah, let's do it. No offense to any of my...
Let's, you want to chief on this thing again?
Hell yeah.
And shit? You did hit it classy. I really can't say no.
Yeah, you talked shit. You were like, that was... And then all this smoke came out. You weren't expecting it.
No.
Wait till I blow O's out of that fucking thing.
You can't. Not if you don't... Unless you're not inhaling it. And then you can.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of podcast guests who are like, can you please edit that out because I don't want my job to see? And I'm like, it's not that serious. They're not going to look you up. You know what I mean?
I just did a French inhale. I haven't done one in forever.
All right, let's see if I can blow an O.
I think you might have been able to
I'm going to try to blow an O.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You make the noise and everything. Respect.
I don't know if you're going to see it on the camera, but
it happened. It definitely happened.
Ooh, I just got a buzz from that. Holy hell.
And I'm just like hitting this all day. So
I really just got a buzz from blowing O's out of that. That's like a special thing that doesn't happen with the regular cigarettes. If I faint on this video, we're going to keep it in.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I was going to tell a story.
If you faint on this video, I might go to jail, so I'm going to have to edit that
out. What's in that thing?
Yeah. That's the funniest, like, if you, like, I made that joke, like, once, and I'll never make it again. But I told a girl, like, I was like, yeah, just let me know when you get home. I want to know that you got home safe. And she was like, oh, my God, that's so sweet. And I was like, yeah, well, like, if you go missing, like, I'm in trouble. So, like, just make sure you get home safe.
So you find your ladies on the dating apps?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't find them anywhere else.
I couldn't get into it.
Really?
I did it a few times, and I don't do it. No, I stopped doing that.
Which ones did you use?
I used Hinge, Tinder. I made a friend off of Tinder. I went on one date on Tinder.
Friend-zoned a guy on Tinder is what
no,
you're saying?
So I was on Tinder, and
sorry if you're listening.
I saw this one guy there.
Happens to the best of us.
No, I saw this one guy there from Brooklyn, and I was doing an open mic in New York City, and I was like, "Hey, you're near me. Let's meet up." And we met up, and everything was fine, but it was just like we lived so far from each other. And I know I said that thing about living far, but living far from somebody, an hour away where there's no traffic is one thing. In New York, Brooklyn is a totally different story because it's hard to get in at. So we just stayed friends. Like, he's like super cool artist guy. So yeah.
I'm lazy. Here's how lazy I am. Because I matched with a girl from Brooklyn while she was down the shore, and like very attractive Asian gal.
Yeah.
Hedge fund manager, makes a lot, and she's like 26.
She could pay for your comedy career.
She could pay for a lot of things. I'm very low maintenance. I'm so low maintenance. But like had like a good thing going there, like sexually, like, and it was just like a chill thing, like kind of like, But then like she went back to Brooklyn, and I was just like, eh. And she had a place in Manhattan too. She had two houses in New York.
See, here's the thing. I wouldn't mind that. It's just that the distance isn't a big deal. It's just getting in and out of Manhattan.
I was just like, this ain't working. I went up there once.
However, I had a show in the city a couple weeks ago, or last week, and because of Omicron, it was so easy to... I got there in 45 minutes, and I got free parking in front of the bar I was performing in because of Omicron. So thank you, Omicron. That was the one benefit, I guess.
I mean, this chick had a bed specifically for strapping people down.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm so lazy when it comes to like traveling for that. Like, I'm the complete opposite of the 15-year-old that I was telling you about.
But wouldn't that kind of be a red flag? Like, how many dudes have you been doing this with? You don't care?
No, I'm not like, women are like, I don't care if women sleep with guys. Like, I'm not the jealous type.
You're not?
My first girlfriend in adulthood was a stripper. She was a sex worker.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. It was actually...
And you dated her while she was a stripper?
Yes.
Did you ever go see her perform?
Yeah, of course.
Did it bother you that she did that?
No, she was making a lot of money. Did not bother me at all.
See, an Italian woman would not like that shit.
They talk about it differently.
An Italian man would not like that shit.
They like run game on dudes. Like that's just what they do.
Yeah, it's just like a manipulation, basically. It's not like, real, you know.
Like fucking,
but what if you found out that she was like doing little side stuff?
I mean, when I was a drug addict, I used to like hang out with like actual escorts. Like
really?
Yeah,
they're probably cool people.
They're all like better than I am now. Like in their life, like. One of them went to culinary school. She works at a 5-star restaurant. She's married to a rich dude.
There's a podcast I actually listened to.
They're killing it.
No, there's a podcast I listened to called the Holly Randall Unfiltered podcast. And it's a woman who's a porn director. Awesome. And she interviews porn stars. And I'm fascinated. I love this podcast because first of all, I look up to the interviewer because she's great at what she does. She asks really compelling questions, and a lot of the porn stars, like when I first got into it, I was surprised how much I was stereotyping them. I'm like, oh, they must be fucking idiots. A lot of them are really
they're very industrious,
highly intelligent people. Yeah. You know, that just happen to be super attractive and banked off of that. But a lot of them are well read and well articulated more than I am. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was pretty fascinating. I love that podcast. Shout out to Holly Randall Unfiltered podcast.
Shout out. I've
never
heard of her. I haven't watched porn in years.
Were you addicted to that too?
Oh yeah. Bad.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was part of like sex therapy for like the trauma and all that.
Yeah.
Because that was like the main focus of my therapy was like that end of my life.
Sex trauma, yeah.
Like that part of my life in specific, and like just like the way it was like affected, and like you know like the 15-year-old I described earlier.
Yeah.
And like just like unable to like say no, and like just like I had zero like control.
Yeah.
In my life, like in all aspects.
Yeah, you just impulsive.
Yeah, I mean, I lacked like any type of personal freedom, and I think like a lot of people do, like in a lot of areas.
Were you diagnosed with any like disorders?
When I was in treatment, they tried to tell me I was bipolar, and I'm I was like, yeah, I've never like been off of drugs and happy. Like what do you? They tried to med me up, and you know why I didn't take the meds?
Yeah, why?
It's because like the libido thing.
A lot of people say that.
That's why I said no, and then like you know like I got like some time away from like drugs and alcohol, and I felt, and like I'm always like this like. Like, I actually is what you get.
I used to do a comedy bit about that, but I haven't done it in a while because I wasn't sure if it was getting received well. But the bit was that that a lot of people are afraid to take antidepressants because of they're afraid they're going to lose their sex drive. But in my opinion, that was the best part of it because I could actually focus on getting shit done and stop thinking about sex. But no, yeah, that shit does calm down your libido.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't know.
No, I've never talked about this on my podcast, but I kind of wanted to, so I feel like this is the appropriate time to insert this here, normalize it, I guess. I was actually diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Did you ever hear about that?
Oh yeah, of course. I watched The Sopranos.
Yeah. I guess in an Italian
You're like the mom from Sopranos.
Yeah. No, a lot of people like they hear that and they're like, oh, that sounds really fucking serious, but really it's just to put it in a nutshell, it comes from childhood trauma. Okay. As a result of your childhood trauma, you feel like a constant emptiness inside you. Like I still feel it, you know, a lot of times. But when I was younger, it manifested into all kinds of issues to self-harm. And I had developed an eating disorder that was pretty much a branch from that. But no, I've been in therapy for like 10 years at this point. I take medication, so it's pretty much under control. But yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah, you know.
Absolutely. Shout out therapists.
Shout out to therapy. Therapy's good.
Check it out. Even if you're a big Irishman, you're probably not gonna listen. You're probably gonna be like, this guy's a fucking sissy. But you know, it definitely fucking saved my life, and I got a lot of good bits out of it. I mean,
out of therapy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the one that I do is like literally a breakthrough that I had.
Really?
Yeah. It's literally a breakthrough that I had in therapy, but it's like I told my friend about it and I was all excited. He was like, do you know how funny that is? I was like, I was just calling like the guy who molested me like a loser. I was like, oh, he's just a loser. Like, he's like some monster in my head. I was like, oh no, he's just a loser.
Yeah.
I was like, and I fuck better than that dude. You know?
Dude, that is really.
Yeah.
Do you like
that? Was my honest to God breakthrough. Like that was my breakthrough in therapy. I was like, oh, he's just a loser. I fuck better than him. He's kind of like even like cuddle and stuff.
Do you like when friends tell you that's funny, or is it annoying? Like friends who know you're doing stand-up comedy?
No, because like they see things that I don't always see as hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like the people who tell me, hey, that's funny, write that down. Those are my good friends because they're looking out for my well-being. They're like, oh, that would work. Write that down. I love when my friends do that. And then I have some friends later who tell me they thought about doing it, but they didn't want to be annoying. And I'm like, no, do it. I really like it, you know? But then you got to trust their opinion because they might say something's funny that isn't funny at all. Like,
my whole life, people told me to do like some type of comedy. Like I always prefer comedy writing. I like writing this stuff. I feel like I'm not like, people keep telling me I'm good at performing, but I don't know. Like I'm like,
I think you are.
I'm like, but I like writing more, but I have to get more used to it. I do need to practice. It's like a New Year's thing of mine. Like
how many open mics do you want to do a week?
At least 3 mics.
I would be happy with doing 2 now because I haven't done 1 in a month.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I'm like, I think I'm going to start this week. I'm going to start doing 1 a week. And then in February, I'm going to start doing 2 a week.
But I have like friends in my life that like shout out Greg, aka Junebug. Yeah. I changed his name to Craig last year for like the whole year. And like everybody hopped on board. It was hilarious. But anyway, but he was like the last one to be like, you got to do it. Because he's friends with McDonough and he like introduced us. And he was like, you got to do it. Yeah. And I was like, okay. But he's one of those friends that I have that gets me gassed up and like gets me talking shit. Like
gotta have those friends.
Like he asked me like if I was jealous of like after I broke up with my ex, he was like, don't you ever like think about like, because he has like a lot of like neurosis and fear, especially with sex. And he was like, do you ever like worry like that she's like having sex with other dudes? And I'm like, what the fuck kind of question is that to ask somebody
he's probably
at
just
7 o'clock in the morning?
He's probably just looking for validation about his thoughts.
I know.
Like he's like, I know he is. That's probably what it is.
And I didn't give him any of that. I was like, are you nuts, dude? I don't give a shit, bro. I'm out here fucking slinging it. Like, leave me the fuck alone. And like, but like that got me gassed up to the point where I was like, I made like a whole bit about being the Michael Jordan of eating pussy. I was like, nah, dude, I'm not jealous. Nobody's gonna eat her out like I did. And like I like created this whole bit about it. And it's one of my favorites. It's a crowd favorite.
Do you actually talk about him in the bit?
Oh yeah, like throughout the whole set,
he probably loves it too.
People being like, oh him,
yeah,
like my friend.
He probably likes being.
No. I talk about Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't talk about him. I'll never.
Michael Jordan likes it.
I'll never give him that satisfaction.
Yeah.
I don't even want to tell him about this because he'll be like, oh, he talked about me on a podcast.
He's not a comedian, right?
No, but he loves comedy. Like he like showed me like Mark Norman, and I've heard you talk about being a fan of his.
I don't want to. No, I feel really bad saying this, but I'm gonna say it. Love Mark Norman. Love him to death. I've obviously talked about him obsessively on this podcast. I saw his recent special. And I didn't think it was good, but it wasn't as good as I've seen him. And I was kind of sad about that.
How hard it's going to be for him to do what he does on a consistent basis, though. He's very
Also, it's on Netflix, and I feel like Netflix might filter certain things, possibly, maybe not.
I just feel like it's going to be tough. Like when I watch if I watch like a guy like Tom Segura, I'm like, this is doable. Yeah. Because like I just have like crazy stories and crazy shit and crazy people in my life. Yeah. And I can present it in a way that it's funny. Yeah. But Mark Norman, like that type of comic, like that, like Mitch Hedberg, Stephen Wright type of like writing where it's just like
quick,
boom, boom,
very
boom,
quick,
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And it's like punchline. That's fucking.
Also, I think
that seems impossible.
I think he was really sick when because I saw him posting videos about it. He filmed the show and he filmed the special and he was like deathly ill. I don't think he had Omicron, but he had some kind of flu or something going on. So I got to give him credit for that. But I just remember thinking, like, I showed it to one of my friends and my friend wasn't really laughing. He laughed at like one joke and I was like, I was like sad that my friend didn't laugh, but in my head I was like, yeah, this isn't his best work. So I kind of get why. Yeah. Like I was like introducing him to Mark Norman, like you got to see Mark Norman. Then I kind of felt bad that it wasn't like showing him his best, because he really truly is amazing. So I feel bad saying that. But what I'm saying is he's awesome, and that wasn't the best demonstration of how great he is, you know?
Hell yeah.
But
yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, like you, as a performer, you know, like you're not always like on your... So yeah,
that's gotta be scary too, to film a special and then...
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a little jazzed up about it though. I get like weird reactions to things. Like I don't think I have normal reactions.
Do you ever fantasize about what your special introduction would be if you had one? Because I do that myself. I get like in my own head with the fantasy about it. Because you know how a lot of comedians have like their little opening skit and their song. Would you share with me some of your ideas, or at least what song you would do?
It's like Pat Benatar, Warriors, probably.
Okay.
Or like maybe like you mean like a opening song, like
like This Is You. You're about to come out on stage and it's all fired up. I love I love
80s like cheesy 80s music. So it's usually like the Karate Kid, Best Around.
Got to keep this in mind because I'm teaching him piano lessons.
Yeah.
They're going to be really. By the way, the lessons are going to be really boring until you figure out the basics.
Oh, of course.
They're gonna. Yeah. That's like the thing about adults, teaching adults, is like they come in, they're like, I want to play Billy Joel. I'm like, well, you're not, because you're brand new. Yeah. But you could if you do.
I'm very humble when it comes to like. Yeah. Like if I can just like poorly do like Ordinary People by this time next year, by John Legend, and like just like, you know, maybe like drop a panty or two, like that'd be great.
There's gonna be a lot of boring stuff for several months, course. But if you're actually dedicated,
that's like anything that's worth it though.
Yeah
Like
during the pandemic last year, a lot of the stand-up comedians went through a phase where they bought pianos. Mark Norman bought a piano.
Oh, really?
And they were like, we're going to learn piano. And then when stand-up opened, they just all quit. Theo Von bought a piano.
I was just about to bring him up.
Yeah, I love Theo Von.
That is probably like, McDonough showed me him, like his stand-up. Like I liked his podcasts and everything. Yeah. Like his podcast appearances. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Him doing his podcast.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
His bit about hamsters. Have you heard that stand-up bit? I'll show you after.
I don't think I've seen it.
I'll show you after the podcast.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Theo Von's bit about hamsters. No, he is a unique soul. He is. There's no one like him.
Exactly. And I was like, being a white dude from like a black neighborhood, like in a weird black neighborhood at that, like I was like, yeah, that's probably my biggest influence. I was like, yeah, I get that. Like you're in a different situation when you grow up that way.
Mark Norman also, he was from Louisiana and he was picked on a lot and bullied a lot.
Yeah.
He was from New Orleans. And he told a lot of stories about how he also lived in a weird neighborhood, like a weird part of town, and he was like beat up and shit.
I got beat up all the time.
Explains a lot.
All the time. I like to say it's because I'm white. I just had like.
But you're so tall. I feel like you're so tall that you could probably.
No, these kids were like
taller,
older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I was like 7. And they were like 15.
Yeah, no. You're fucked. You're fucked.
Yeah. Like I was always a big kid, but like you could only do so much.
How tall are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 6'4" and some change, I think.
You're just like, when Ricky was here, he looked short sitting down.
Yeah, well, he was like...
That's kind of how you, like, sitting down, you don't look 6'4".
Nah.
But when you stand up, it's like, okay, you're a tall guy.
I also don't have great posture. Like if I like...
I normally do have great posture, but right now I'm not for some reason. But I actually normally do because I have scoliosis. So I learned how to fix my posture so that I wouldn't have back pain. But right now I'm just kind of like, I didn't sleep well last night. So I'm just kind of like, fuck, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep well at all last night.
Why?
I don't know. I just kept waking up like super fucking thirsty. like did that ever happen to you?
If I drink, yeah. So I might have that problem tonight.
Yeah, it felt like if after like a night of drink, like my mouth was dry.
I get dry after I eat pizza.
Well, I told you about that earlier. I can't eat pizza after like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it does dry my mouth out. Yeah. It gives me cotton mouth to eat pizza. Do you smoke weed?
No, I'm completely like I've been completely sober for almost 6 years.
Like everything's a gateway for you.
Except
for that.
Oh yeah. But like completely from like any type of like drug or alcohol.
Yeah.
Just nothing at all. And weed, like, I only liked it for like 8 months when I was like a teenager. And then I did way too many hallucinogens. Like, I did like hallucinogens like addictively for a while, and it like ruined weed for me to the point where I was like paranoid. But yeah, a lot of people like give me credit for like being like a sober comic. We were talking about that earlier. I'm just like, it's like taking ankle weights off and running. Like, it's...
I don't remember which guest I was talking about this with. It might have been Dan Caprio. And I was like, doesn't it get annoying, you know, to be a sober comic? But then I'm like, wait a minute. I've had a lot of podcast guests that were comedians, and I would say at this point, like 50% of comedians are sober.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like a whole...
Not the ones I've met.
No, but I have a lot of guests that tell me I can't do that shit anymore. I don't know if they're 100% sober, but I'm talking about alcohol specifically. A lot, like some of them smoke weed or whatever, but a lot of them are like, oh, I can't drink anymore. So I'm like, I guess you would think as a comedian that you would be lonely, you know, to go to bars and do these shows and not be able to drink with everybody. But that's a lot of comedians' backstories. It's like, oh, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I just don't drink. So, and they have other people to hang out with that are in the same boat, you know?
So that would be like the other missing piece that I had, like the missing piece to like doing like any form of comedy in my life was I can't, the only thing I won't talk about like on a podcast or anything is like the program that I do to stay sober and to like live a better life. But I mean, you can probably surmise, but I just can't talk about it. But yeah, like that level of like introspection that was like required from like that and therapy is what like really like gave me the ability to like, because I was always funny about like writing shit about other people and like other things like but like when it came to like actually like looking at myself like in the mirror and like dealing with my past and like looking at my past and like really like touching it and that's what like really like gave me like afforded me the ability to like talk about things and be open with them and laugh about them and like be okay to the point where like not only do people think it's funny, but I think it's fucking hilarious.
Have you developed any spiritual beliefs on your journey to bettering yourself?
100%. I read spiritual books all the time.
Are like religious or spiritual? Like
both. I take from anything. Like I just read I went through like this whole book. It's got like a lot of like practical application, which I like. Like I think like everything's like a verb, you know, like we can talk about comedy or we can say sorry or we can like say I love you to somebody, but like everything's a verb. Like you need to do something for all of those things to like be real. So like I like the books that are like, do this, you know, like this is what you can practice in your daily life. And I also think, oh man, I'm gonna sound like such a surfer douchebag right now. Spirituality and comedy and like anything like that are like very similar in the sense that like, so in comedy, like you can like practice all the time. You know, you can go to as many open mics a week as you want and like you can do all this stuff, but if you're not like living a life, like if you're one of like, if you're like if I'll just keep it on me. Like if I just went home and like did nothing but like try to write comedy or try to like force it or try to like go to open mics and practice it, it wouldn't be like as good as if I just like went out and lived my life. You know,
not to shout out Whitney Cummings again, but she actually quoted that. She said a quote about that on her podcast. She said that art. Oh my God, I fucked that up. Art reflects life, and if you don't have a life, you have nothing to say in your art. And she said she realized that too because she's a workaholic, and I can relate to that as well. That's why that kind of resonated with me. I'm very much a workaholic. I'm like, I gotta grind, I gotta get this done. But I'm like, okay, I have no relationships, no friends, no one to love. What am I going to talk about in my art?
You know what I mean? The whole picture.
Yeah. So I think it's good to take time away from what you're doing, like your obsessions, and live life and I talk about that a lot with people like on like the same path as me, like on the spirituality side of things, because like it's like there's like an old like parable about a businessman who like goes to like a very successful businessman who like knows everything about this realm of things, like the material. He wants to learn about the spiritual realm of things, so he goes to a monk and he's like, okay, so like brass tacks, you know, like if I meditate for 8 hours a day, how long till I achieve nirvana or enlightenment? It's a Buddhist story. And the monk looks at him, smiles, and he's like, you know, like probably like 10 years. And he's like, okay, so like then what if I
meditate for like 12 hours a day. And the monk like kind of like, run some numbers and like 20.
So it's like the more I get it, the more you obsess over something.
Yeah, because that high, like that's another thing I learned in spirituality was like that can become a drug. Like anything like that, like you can, but nobody's gonna have an intervention because you missed your sister's birthday to go to like some type of sweat lodge or spiritual retreat or like yoga. Like nobody's gonna have an intervention for you for buying too many mala beads. So it's a slippery slope with all that, like as far as like missing the whole point and practicing.
That's totally true. Do you ever, how do you deal with this is my issue because I'm neurotic, but I'm kind of now I feel like I'm your friend who's like looking for reassurance through you. But because I'm a neurotic person. No, but seriously, do you deal with issues of the unknown? Like, for example, I feel like that's a big part of my mental issues is I don't even know how to explain it. I'm trying to give you a concrete example. Like, okay, right now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to live. Okay. And I'm going through the process of figuring out, okay, am I going to live in this city? I'm going to live in this city. And I'm not calm through the process. I'm not enjoying the process. Like, I kind of just want to be there. I'm just kind of like, can I just know where I am? Like,
want to be at the destination.
I want to be at the destination. How are you with that? Are you cool with the unknown of things, or?
I'm pretty good. I'm maybe too good sometimes. Because I'm like, I'm in the same boat where I'm like, yeah, like I got it. Like, I've lived with my buddy and his girl I've lived with him for like, all like coming up on 5 years this summer. And she moved in a couple of years ago, and now they're engaged, and they're going to get married this summer. And he's like, you can stay. And it's cheap rent for me, and I work on the house, so like I get the cheap rent. And it's a great situation for both of us. But I'm like, dude, like she does not want me staying here after you guys. He's out of his mind. He's like on like a spiritual path where like nothing you know what I mean? It's like nothing is real, like completely like in the realm of the spirit. Like him, like the truth is true and nothing else is true. Love is the only existent. Like just like So like I'm like a little more grounded. He's also very grounded, but I'm a little more so like, let's be practical here. You're gonna get a lot of shit if I'm still here and you guys are married, because she wants like kids and all this.
Oh yeah. She might be, and she could be one of those people too. Who,
and I like her, and she likes me.
She might be afraid of confrontation. Resentment. She might be like so sweet and afraid to piss you off, and then one day she'll be like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah. And I feel like that would be me. That to happen.
I feel like that would be me. My cat is like totally checking us out right now.
And it looks like Salem. So yeah, like I just never want to have that day where like that's what I try to do with everybody in my life. Like I'm like I try to like handle shit before it becomes a thing.
That's really smart.
But yeah, like I'm like totally chill about the whole situation because I'm like, figure it out. It's not for another like 6 months. I'm
very bad with that, and that's something that's kind of my New Year's resolution on my list of New Year's resolutions. I'm like, I want to be better with that. I want to be cool with the flow of things and not needing to control everything around me. Like you never know what's gonna happen. Life is fucking crazy, you know.
It's a lot of like beating yourself up, probably. Like, you're like, I'm not as far along as I need to be. Like that, like type of internal monologue. Exactly. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, whenever that happens, it's like you just have to like have like clear set goals, and like if you're meeting those goals, like I look at like one place a week. Or like, you know, like I keep an open mind towards these places, and I'm not just like being overly picky or like whatever it is. And you stick to that goal, and like, you know, even if you can't for some reason, like you're just like, I'm gonna do better tomorrow. I just kind of like have had like so many experiences like with like letting things happen and just being my best self that
throughout the whole process.
I mean, I've been burned as a result of it, but at the end of the day, like if I can like lay my head on my pillow and be like, you were the best version of yourself that you could be today, and then like all those other things do not matter. That's
true. If you've done, that's actually, it's funny you mention that, because that's kind of been my motto. I talked about it in therapy with my therapist. In order to kind of calm down that negative self-talk, I've just been telling myself, I did my best. I really did. You know, like I've done my best today. I did my best yesterday. And if the result wasn't what I wanted to be, at least like you said, at least I tried.
Yeah, but also like I also have like the higher power and like that like relationship that was like there was no trust in the beginning.
Yeah.
And again, it takes action. Yeah. Like I had to like perform like deep actions in my life. Like I remember like I had like warrants out for my arrest when I first got sober.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ever going to take care of them.
Yeah.
Like ever. Like I was just going to like ride my bike to work every day or take the train to work, whichever one I had to do.
Yeah.
I was just going to like not have a driver's license. I was going to work under the table and just never go back to Wilmington, Delaware, where like the cops know who I am. And like I have warrants out for my arrest for parole violation. Yeah. And about 5 months in, like I really like realized like I wanted like to be free from like myself. And like I wanted to like have like a knowledge of myself, which leads to that freedom, because like I was just like a blind asshole just going through life and just like destroying my life and the lives of others and then disappearing. Yeah. And that was my life for a long time, and I just had no like looking back, not to excuse it because it doesn't excuse my actions, but to like really look at that and like see that and like see that lack of power and choice in my life. Like I had like no free will, it seemed like, because I had no like emotional intelligence or like, you know, ability to say no to things that I shouldn't do. And with that, I finally got enough to be like, okay, like I need to change this. And I looked at it because I was like, you know, going back and making things right in Delaware, but I was like sneaking in to like see my family and stuff, and then like sneaking back out. So eventually I was like, yeah, I need to handle this. I turned myself in. They slapped the cuffs on me. My parents let me stay at their place for the first time in a very long time, for a month, after bailing me out for the first time ever.
How long were you supposed to stay there for?
I was on parole violation, so I was waiting for a court date for a month.
Okay.
At the court date, worst case scenario would have been 3 to 5 years in prison, in a place where 2 months after that, in 2016, I think it was October 2016, they rioted and killed 3 guards. So it was like I always went to like one place there, this place called Gander Hill, which was like not bad. Yeah. You know, like they had a lot of like maximum security type joint. Like you're locked in for like 16 hours a day. Like you're like out and about with population, very small amount. Yeah. Everything's pretty chill. Yeah. And like they don't really have a lot of crazy violent offenders. Although my first cellmate was in there for manslaughter, but he was only up there because he had sickle cell disease. So the only hospital that could treat him was there. Yeah. But the neighborhood I grew up with, and I actually grew up with 2 of his nephews. So it turned an awkward 3 days into a great year and some change.
So you were only there for a year and a half?
No, that was when I was 19.
Okay.
Very scary. I tried to make a joke work about being locked up at 19, but nobody can like relate to that. Like I was talking about reading
That's true. It has to be relatable.
I know. So I was talking about reading. It has a good, decent enough punchline. I'm never going to use it, so I was talking about like reading the Prison Rape Elimination Act and how funny it was in hindsight for Bill Clinton's name to be on it at the bottom. Anything with rape elimination, because all I remember is Bill Clinton's name being at the bottom and then rape elimination. Was like, hindsight's hilarious. But so I went and turned myself in. My parents bailed me out for the first time. They let me stay at their house, which is a huge deal. I mean, I'd been paying them back money that I owed them and like kind of showing up as a child.
I feel like there's something to the fact that you turned yourself in. It kind of felt like whatever, the higher power, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It kind of seems like it was working in your benefit because
it was a crossroads.
You turned yourself in. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they never catch me unless I turn my. Like, this has happened before. Like they literally, like my PL literally brought. Like people were like, "Oh, you turn yourself in, you'll be fine. They'll ROR you, released on your own recognizance, like no bail." I was like, "No, this has happened before. I disappear like." It's not just women I disappear from. It's like I fall off the face of the earth.
He ghosts on everyone.
Yeah, I ghost on the world, like at large. 'Cause it's just better that way. Like no attachment. It's very Buddhist. I'm very Buddhist when I'm good. It's like no attachment. It's the cause of all suffering. Like just like let it all go and just get the drugs. That's all that matters. Drugs, money, and maybe sex if you're lucky. If you're high enough to enjoy it. So yeah, so like at the end of the month, like I go to court, and like the whole month I was there, I was like, I wanted to get high like the whole time.
Yeah.
But like I was just like making everything right with people. I went to go see bosses, exes, friends, family, everybody.
Yeah.
And at the end of this month, like I show up at court, my PO had nice things to say. First of all, my public defender, because I never had anything but a public defender in a poorly tailored suit with like black K-Swisses on. It was awful. Actually, no, shout out public defender's office in Westchester, Pennsylvania. They have some straight dime pieces there. If you ever get locked up in Westchester, Pennsylvania, go public defender, because the women are, whoever runs the hiring there is a fucking gonna get me too, for sure. They're all like hot. It's incredible. They all have like legs. The guy's got a type, and it's my type. So yeah, like I turned myself in, all that shit. Court date. Not my case judge, which is awesome, because my case judge, his daughter died from an overdose, and like the original charge was distribution charges, like on what I was on parole for. So that wasn't good, but it was good that the lady, Judge Rojas, was there. Shout out. Because at the end of it, I mean, there's like 8 people ahead of me, and they're all fucking up like royally. So I'm just like sitting there, like for the first time, like not in a jumpsuit in court, like kind of feeling okay. I mean, the public defender took me into like the interview room, like at the back of the court, and he was like, yeah, like, you know, worst case 3 to 5, not telling me anything they never tell you anything you don't know. And you're like, obviously you're guilty. That's what they all say. Every public defender is just like, guilty? And I'm like, yeah, like you got me dead to rights. I'm not paying for a lawyer. So at the end of it, like she just like asked me some questions. She had like a stack of like letters from people that I made things right with, like the sober facility that I was in up here, like all these people that I met up here in that life. And she looked at it and she was like, wow, like, you know, this is a very different version of you that I'm getting on this side of the paperwork. You owe the state of Delaware $2,000 out of 80, I think it was like 9 something, maybe like $9,600 that I owed them. Like, but I had been paid, like I paid it off when I was good before, and then while I was waiting for court as well. So I owed 2 still. She was like, I'm gonna waive that. And as soon as she did that, I started like crying a little bit, because like I knew like that I was free to go for the first time like in my fucking life. So like it was like, but I had a lot of moments like that with making everything right that led up to that big moment where I was like crying in a parking garage that I used to like do just enough heroin in to like be okay, like a normal person, so that they didn't know that I was on heroin. I had to like do just enough. I was like bawling my eyes out. I was calling people from up here like, yeah, like I can come back, because like I thought like, you know, like middle case scenario, like I'll just be on probation again and I'll never get out of this fucking endless cycle of bullshit that I'm in. I'll be stuck in it.
There is something really nice about making amends with people you hurt and that you know you were in the wrong. I've done that this year. Long story short, because I'm probably going to actually close the podcast up soon, because I try to keep it after an hour. But long story short, about a decade ago, I dated a guy. Didn't work out for certain reasons. He was like, we were young, you know what I mean? I was like 23, 24. He like, he didn't want kids, and I wanted kids at the time. I didn't want kids then, but I wanted kids one day type of thing. And he was like, I definitely don't want kids. We parted ways, and when we broke up, I said some horribly nasty things to him. They were basically lies, like, because I was hurt that he was leaving. Made up a bunch of shit like that wasn't real at all. Just because my ego was bruised, you know what I mean?
Of course.
And he never forgave me. And I remember praying to God, please let me talk to him again, so that I could just tell him, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. That was a bunch of bullshit. And I prayed so much, and nothing ever happened of it. We reconnected this year after a decade, and I finally got to tell him I'm sorry. And he actually like believed me now. And it's just like it was just such a thing. It's like I needed to do that in order to move on with my life. You know what I mean? And it was almost like everything was brought together at the right time because I had prayed for that. I was like, please just let him talk to me. But he's kind of a stubborn person, so he wouldn't talk to me. But it was like those prayers I said were answered a decade later. You know what I mean? And it was just such a wonderful feeling to be able to just do the right thing and be a good person.
Definitely where the most change came from. Like looking my mistakes in the eye as a person.
And not a lot of people could do that, by the way. So I think that's a really good thing to be able to look at yourself and say, like, wait a second, I could have done this better and I need to fix this. And to say sorry to people you've hurt takes a lot of fucking work.
And to fix it. Yeah.
To
not
fix
just
it.
say sorry, but like fix it.
Oh yeah, because that's true. You could say sorry. I've had people in my life that say yeah, it is a verb. Yeah, you can say sorry, oh I'm sorry, and then just do the same shit. Absolutely. It doesn't fucking mean anything. 100%. But if you actually say you're sorry and then behave differently, it's a totally different story.
Yeah. I write that lady a letter every year when I get like have it like
I thought you were gonna say every day. I thought you were gonna say every day.
Every year on like my sobriety date. Like April. I'm just like boom, letter sent in the mail.
Dude, that's really awesome.
Because hopefully like she does it for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like but that's what you do when you like make things right in the world. Yeah. Like maybe he had like some issues with like maybe those words that you said like were true in his mind.
He actually admitted that. He said because we talked about it recently, like maybe 8 months ago ish or something like that, and he said that what I said to him at that time reminded him of his first relationship, and it like just reassured something. Yeah. And he was so mad that he couldn't forgive me. He hated me. Like he just hated me. And then it literally took that much time for him to open up to the fact that I didn't mean it. You know what I mean? Though. It was crazy, but
at least he opened up to it, and maybe he's more capable of having a healthy relationship now.
I mean, it was kind of sad though because I remember I fell back in love with him because we started hooking up again.
Well, that's a rule that you don't do that.
Yeah, and then I remember like in my head I was like, oh, we're gonna be together now, like it's meant to be. But it really and I was so disappointed. I was like, oh man, I thought this meant we were gonna be together, and really what it was. I think a higher power wanted me to apologize, and I think that's all it was.
Yeah, I've made that mistake too. Though.
But we definitely like had sex.
I've made that mistake too. That's like the big no-no. Like when you go back, do not. Like have sex with the person.
Everything was going great, and he was just like he randomly backed out, and he was like, "I don't date my exes," and I'm like, a decade later, and he's like, "It's just a rule," and I'm like, "All right."
Did you say those things again?
No, but I did not.
There you go.
I did not. And then I didn't say them again. Nice. I said some really nasty things, but I didn't say them again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Respect,
yeah.
And that's growth.
That's really funny that you thought about, though, because I thought about it when it happened. Like, can you imagine after I'll apologize and be like, yeah, by
the way, I didn't mean it. I did mean those things. I'm not sorry. It's like so indignant.
Anyways, this was a great conversation. Hilarious. Some beautiful moments about the spirituality. Really amazing stories about his background. But we're going to end it here because I know you guys have a horrible attention span, and I doubt anyone's even listened to this far except for him. He's going to listen back. No, I'm sure somebody will listen this far. But anyways, leave your comments in the comment section about anything we talked about today. This is the Pranzata Podcast. Let them know where they can find you and follow you if you get shows and they want to come see you perform.
Oh, I hate my Instagram name. It's so bad. It's McCracken you up 09.
That's like some AOL Instant Messenger shit right there.
So at McCracken you up 09. No, I would never be that cheesy. That's where I spit game.
I'm gonna leave a link to it in the bio. What do we call that thing on YouTube?
Link in the bio.
I'm gonna leave a link in the bio on YouTube, so you can just click on that to make it easier, since there's no way you're gonna figure out how to spell that just from him saying it.
The Hitless Podcast, it's on Apple, I'm blanking, Spotify.
Yeah,
it's on all of them because I go through Anchor, so it just puts them on everything.
Yeah.
So
anyways, Pranzata Podcast, don't forget to hit subscribe if you enjoyed yourself today. Have a good day. Bye.